Hey there, Bitizens, and welcome to the Killer Bits. My name is Francesca, and today we are checking out Smite Tactics. Smite Tactics is a new CCG centered around gods and goddesses and their pantheons. It has just entered closed alpha. You build a deck of 20 cards around a specific pantheon with exclusive cards, as well as neutral cards available to all pantheons. Currently, there are Norse, Greek, and Egyptian pantheons. Within each pantheon, you have a leader. Your objective in Tactics is to reduce the health of your opponent's leader to 0. You do this via playing cards and summoning various minions and gods to the board. You begin the game with just your leader on the board. You can choose to move this piece as well as using its special ability or attacking. You cannot do both per turn. Units may be ranged or melee. Odin, the leader of the Norse pantheon, is melee. He can only attack a unit on one of the 8 adjacent spaces surrounding him. Ra for Egyptian and Zeus for Greek are ranged leaders. They may attack any unit within 4 squares of them, horizontally and vertically, not diagonally. When a unit attacks another, it will deal damage based on the red indicator in the bottom left corner of the card. Health is displayed in the bottom right corner. The opposing unit will then retaliate if it is within range. Thus, ranged units may attack a melee unit from a distance without taking return damage. Attacking a ranged unit, however, will almost always lead to a retaliation, whereas melee units will only retaliate if you are adjacent. This occurs even if your attack kills the unit. You can also use your mana to play cards. You begin the game with 2 mana at the start of the first turn, and this increases by 1 mana each turn after, up to 10 mana per turn. The player going second may play a mana potion and receive 1 additional temporary mana for 1 turn. Mana can be used to play item and spell cards, or to summon minions and god cards. Summon units can only be placed in the 8 adjacent squares to your leader. You can summon units before or after moving your leader on your turn. For the most part, summon units are exhausted and cannot move or attack on the turn that they are played. All god cards, including leaders, have a special ability, which you can choose to cast instead of attacking. Zeus, for example, can spend 2 mana and draw a card. Aphrodite can link to another unit, reducing the damage it takes by 1, and healing it for 1 at the start of your next turn. Bastet can summon cats. Some god cards have the trait Initiative. This allows them to cast their ability on the turn in which they are summoned. Some minion cards have the trait Divinity. These cards receive bonuses whenever a god is summoned. For example, they may receive increased damage or health. These bonuses do not, however, occur for existing gods on the board, only those which are summoned after the divinity minion is summoned. Some cards have the trait Charge. Charge allows a unit to move and attack or use an ability on the turn it was summoned. A charge card also exists to allow charge to be given to a unit, which has just been summoned. Some cards have the trait Pardon. Units with Pardon do not take return damage when they attack. There is also a card which allows you to give Pardon to a unit. This means what you could do is summon a card with Charge and apply Pardon to it, allowing it to deal damage and not take return damage. Similarly, you could summon a card with Pardon and then apply Charge to it, allowing you to attack that very turn and deal damage without taking return damage. These are very strong offensive traits. Many defensive traits exist in the game to try and control the board, along with the position of your opponent's units. Units may have the Taunt trait. This causes adjacent enemy units to be unable to move until the taunted minion is either killed or moves away. Furthermore, they can only attack the unit which has Taunt. Units may also root enemies. Rooted units can still attack, but they are unable to move for their turn. This can be useful for chasing down enemies, or for keeping them at bay as you range attack. Similarly, units may be stunned. Stunned units cannot move or attack for 1 turn. They also do not retaliate for return damage. Units may also be banished. Banished units cannot move or attack, but they also cannot be targeted and take damage. Ambush is a trait which means a unit cannot be directly targeted on spawn. It can, however, be hit with area of effect abilities and items. Finally, units can be feared. This causes them to move away from the caster and be unable to move next turn. With such a diverse mix of traits, positioning your units and moving them around the board becomes very tactical. This is furthered by map features on the different boards. On the jungle map, bushes exist which units can move into or be spawned in. Enemies in a bush cannot be targeted by spells or abilities unless you have sight of them. This is achieved by moving or placing your own unit on an adjacent space, including diagonals. However, if a unit attacks from a bush, they still will receive return damage if it is possible to do so. The snow map has rocks which cannot be walked through. These currently do not have any additional features, though it is something that developers are looking into. With all these different features, Smite Tactics is a fun and challenging game with interesting mechanics. Each game introduces new ideas and tactics for a player to try out, as you figure out your own plays and learn from those of your opponent. If you're interested in signing up to the list for access, you can do so at smitetactics.com. We'll have a link in the description. If you want to see more tactics or any specific leaders or decks, let me know in the comments below. We'll have a weekly tactics video on the channel every Thursday. If you want to keep up to date with the Killovits, you can see our social media links on the screen. I've been Francesca, and this has been an introduction to Smite Tactics. I hope you're as excited to see more as I am to play more. If so, you can also find me live streaming at twitch.tv/Jagras. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye!